and Holly Jansen from Jansen Photo Expeditions. Thank you for joining us this evening. We're going to be talking a little bit about some of our upcoming workshops and some things you'll be doing this summer.
We'd like to tell you a little bit about what's coming up and where to be shooting in California this spring, for example. We love to go to Big Sur. We love shooting in Yosemite and the Eastern Sierras, and we wanted to give you some tips about those areas and also to give you some information about our upcoming trips. We go when the light is right, when the flowers are perfect, when the water is flowing, and we help you get those great shots.
Some of the specialty areas we'll be talking about this evening will be the Big Sur Coast. Holly and I have been exploring that region for the past 15 years, and we know it pretty well. There's a lot of things you need to think about when you go up there. It's a busy place in the spring. All the photographers are out and everyone's out shooting, and they want to know where to be and what to expect.
Our upcoming Big Sur workshop is April 16th through the 19th. So if you're thinking about going up to Big Sur that time of year, you really need to get your reservations now. If you're interested in going on one of our trips, please let us know and we can recommend some lodging for you. On this trip, we start in Morro Bay and we travel the Big Sur Coast for 3 days, and we end up just south of Monterey. In April, everything is in bloom. The poppies are everywhere. We've seen all sorts of different birds. We've seen the I can't think of the name of the birds.
Condors.
We've seen the condors in Big Sur. It's really fabulous there. And you know, we might just want to show you some pictures. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to do a screen share here, and we're going to show you a little bit about what's. So here we have some information about our upcoming photographing Big Sur and Yosemite in the spring. So I'll let you talk about this next picture here, Mark.
Okay. Well, the Big Sur is noted for its amazing coastlines. There's a lot of sea stacks, arches, and all these little places that you see. Usually when you see a photograph of the Big Sur coast, you're looking down one way towards the Bixby Bridge or the opposite way south, and you see these little outcroppings that are down there. Some of them can be quite tricky to maneuver and to get down to. We specialize in a lot of this kind of intricate traveling for people to get them close to these areas, to get a real close-in shot. I prefer shooting the super wide, and the Big Sur is probably the best place for this because it's an expansive area, and you want to capture as much of the drama of it as possible.
I love the silky, milky-looking water that you have there, Mark. We do tell you how to get this effect, and I think we did some light painting in this picture as well, didn't we?
Yes, this is in the pre-dawn hours. We bring our small group, like we specialize in small group workshops. We don't take many more than 6 people on any of our events, just so we can get to these places and get everybody in to get a good shot. On this one, like I say, it was in the pre-dawn hours, and it was basically set up at a small aperture. And it was quite dark at this time, and basically I lit the area with a 10,000 candle wattage beam and flooded the area pretty well for the exposure. And of course, it illuminated the features of the rock. And then of course, you get the misting effect on the long exposure on this particular shot.
This next picture, this is one of my favorite spots on the Big Sur Coast. It always seems to be foggy there. The fog's always kind of coming in and out, and we can get some amazing shots. It's just the way the inlet's coming in here, the features of the coast. And on this particular workshop, we probably spent a good, I don't know, an hour there or so. But this is one of my favorite spots along the coast, and we hit this spot on the second day or third day. Third day.
What's unique about it also is when you're out there shooting, whether you're with us or on your own, to give yourself time and let the fog do its thing, because it comes in at certain times of years in different waves, and it will reveal a lot of the features. Some people say it's maybe clouding up the features, but it just adds so much to the imagery of the Big Sur. and it's noted as noted for its fog and drama.
So we did talk about when you go in the spring, you do get the poppies along the coast. This was one of the shots that I took last year during our workshop, and we do a little belly photography to get this kind of effect. I was really literally flat on my stomach taking this shot, but I'm pretty happy with the results. And you know, there's just nothing like it in the spring.
Yeah, there's some amazing blooms this time of year. You really have to take advantage.
Another place that we go is we go within one of the beautiful redwood forests, and there's everything that you could possibly want in this forest. You know, rocks and moss and redwood trees and beautiful flowing water. There might be some gnomes, I'm not sure, but
yeah, a gnome or two. You'll just find you know, what's interesting. You know, Holly and I have been in this the business of photography for a number of years, and explored the entire coastline from Washington all the way down, and we seem to we have consensus on what we feel are some of the better redwood stands, and they seem to be hidden in the Big Sur Coast in some of these remote canyons. And when I look back at my catalog of imageries, I always go back to my Big Sur redwood pictures. They're always the more remarkable and the more inspiring imagery that I've captured, and as far as redwood forests and waterscapes.
And we do spend a good part of the second day there.
Yeah, this is
the good part of the second day we stay in this forest, and of course the light is good for, you know, most of the day because it's all in shade, so we don't have to worry about you know, early morning, late afternoon types of shooting. We shoot all day long in this forest, and there's plenty to shoot. But then once you're done with the forest, you can come out and enjoy the fields of poppies as well. And, you know, not only do we have the rock outcrops, but we do have the flowers to photograph here as well.
Yeah, and these are all on the bluff line on the entire coastline. We have a number of locations that we really love to get out into. And, of course, you know, different years, the blooms are different. So we do some scouting, advanced scouting on a lot of our trips just to make sure the blooms are happening. And I associate with quite a few botanists in California in general on what's going on, and they always kind of keep me updated. You know, the Big Sur Coast is noted for, you know, when you think of the Big Sur, you think of the Bixby Bridge, the big expansive bridge. But there's a lot of other bridges on the Big Sur that we kind of fly over in our hurry to get the shot. This is one of them that's it's a little further north of the Big Sur, and we scramble down, and you get some great textures in the concrete. And these are all built in the 30s, you know, during the Depression. So there's a lot of, you know, they've got a nice kind of almost a deco feel and somewhat. And you also, some of them are decaying a little bit, and so you get a little chipping of the concrete. And it just adds some great dynamics, especially if you're into the black and white, which is something I really enjoy.
I love this black and white technique that you've done on this one. I'm going to stop the screen sharing for a second and see if anybody has any questions, or if there's anything that we can talk to you about. You can actually put in your questions right on the event page if you have anything that you'd like to comment about, or if you have any questions that we can help you with. So anyway, let's continue on. The next trip we'll show you a little bit about is the Yosemite in spring.
Yes.
We just came back from a great workshop in Yosemite over this weekend. We had 6 creative, adventurous individuals that were with us, and we just had a great time. I mean, what's not to love about Yosemite?
Yosemite's a dynamic place. This season we didn't get a lot of snow, but so much granite and light makes up so much for that in the winter. And also you're not dealing with many crowds, and found it really nice.
Okay, so I am going to, it's going to go to the next screen sharing, and I'm having a little technical difficulty here. Hold on one second. Here we go. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the about Yosemite. I'm going to go back to our screen sharing. Give us 1 second. Okay. So our Yosemite in Spring workshop is, for me, it's all about the dogwood. You know, there's lots more there, but the dogwood this time of year, end of April, are blooming profusely. When we were there last weekend, you know, I was looking for the trees that are dogwoods, and if you know they're there, you see them everywhere. But they're, you know, they're just sticks right now, but they do pop out.
And they do. They have a unique structure to them, and they're, if you're from Southern California or Central California, you really don't see these too much. And they're like a hardy flower, and they're very beautiful in the valley, using some of the granite monoliths as a backdrop to these and the water. You'll really enjoy developing interesting compositions working with the dogwood.
But we also can do some interesting black and white. Mark, you want to tell us about this one?
Yeah, this was a couple of seasons ago. We had went to explore Yosemite in the spring, and we got into a rainstorm. It rained pretty heavily. And like I always like to say, when the weather turns, think black and white, and you can really work out some amazing compositions that way. This one I have the dogwood on the right there, and then of course El Capitan. It's just makes the black and white just makes it more interesting and appealing to me. Yosemite's so about textures, and you know that's why Ansel explored it this way to an extreme. And in black and white and cloudy conditions, rainy conditions, it just enhances everything so much more.
Mm-hmm. So we'll go back to color. And so the other great thing about Yosemite this time of year, of course, is the forest. And you don't usually think of Yosemite as, you know, forest pictures, but I love the juxtaposition of the dogwoods and the redwoods and the moss, the moss-colored rocks. There's just an unending creativity in Yosemite this time of year.
This is kind of a unique angle. This is the same weekend where we had the rains. And exploring the valley from the other entrance off the 120, it just added a unique perspective that I normally don't seek when it comes to the valley. What made this for me was of course, the fog and the clouds just kind of gripping onto the canyon walls. And then, of course, get Bridal Veil running at quite a flow.
So we've got some storms coming in the next couple of weeks, so we hope that the water will be flowing.
Yeah, I think Yosemite probably will be really good the next couple of days if you're into the water. We're going to get some big monsoon stuff coming in. Another thing about the valley, you know, when you're going about it, when you get there, that you're so overwhelmed with everything. You see, if you frequent it, you're always trying to find a different angle. And I've never had a problem finding something different to photograph in Yosemite. Some people say, well, you know, we got this and this fall, this waterfall, this stone mastiff, you know, I've seen it a million times. In this particular picture, I was trying to work in some of the fruit tree blooms that are in the valley. Yosemite was settled, many years ago, and there was a lot of fruit trees that were planted. So when you go, well, we like to go, we seek out the blooms. If you get there at the right time, like we're planning on this upcoming trip, try to work them into the composition. This composition really worked well. I really enjoyed it. I can say color, it's nice, but I'm always pulled to the black and white. It just kind of draws me.
So the one thing I wanted to mention about the Yosemite trip, this particular one is running Tuesday, April 28th through Friday, May 1st. And we decided to do this in the middle of the week because of the crowds in the weekend in Yosemite. And we want you to be able to have the best opportunity to have a wonderful nature experience in Yosemite without being hindered by the crowds. I think, you know, we think that this is going to be the best option to be able to get the best shots. We were there, like I said, we were there this weekend, and Saturday, even though it's in the middle of the winter, Saturday was still, you know, pretty heavy crowd. So we just felt it would be best to put it into midweek to help it so that you have the best experience.
Yeah, and then by our small groups, like I say, we don't take more than 6 on any of our trips, unless it's a specialty trip. Like we have an upcoming Iceland trip where we're going to be taking maybe a couple more people than we normally do Iceland. But in Yosemite, you want to be able to move quick, and you want to be able to get into some nice positions, and it's really difficult to do that with large groups. That's been our experience.
So we should probably talk about some of our other upcoming trips. We have our Eastern Sierra trip coming up in the summer, and that one is June 25th through the 28th. And what's really special about this trip is the beauty of the Eastern Sierras, of course, the bristlecone forest and the Owens Valley. We also will take you into the Bodie Ghost Town as well. Yeah,
we pack quite a bit into this workshop. It's intensive. We're covering a lot of ground, and we're seeing a lot of amazing things. Definitely would suggest checking it out, and I'm sure if you haven't been there before, it's on your list, and we can help you with that.
And this picture, of course, if you don't know, is Monolith. And the first morning, we spend early morning waiting for the light.
Yeah, we like shooting the foothills in the southern part of the region, waiting for the light. We'll get up early and we'll do a little hiking. Nothing too extreme. I try to keep everything within reason. And our accommodations are very close by, whether you are camping or with us, or if you are staying in a hotel. Everything's very manageable, nothing too extreme.
So we'd love for you to come out and play with us, learn a little bit about fine art, landscape, nature, and wilderness photography. Join us on one of our upcoming worldwide workshops.
We have an Iceland. Well, we're leaving for Iceland in a couple of weeks. We're taking a group. We're going to be doing cave exploring, ice caves, and the Aurora. But also coming up in August, I've arranged an interesting trip to Iceland this time, where we're going to be kind of going to the northern fjords, which are the older part of the island. You have a lot of older volcanic activity, and some of the biggest waterfalls in the country are there. They can be pretty inspiring. In addition to the horses, we like people to think they're wild horses, but they're not. They're just basically running where they will. And so in our sense, we would think they're wild, but they're beautiful and they're miniature and they're great to photograph. They also have some interesting goats, and then the birds are quite interesting also in that region. But that's coming up in August 10th. And like I said, another small group, and we'll be covering a lot of territory. And we're working, some other photographers on this one, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Okay. So I'm going to go back to get out of our screen sharing again. So if you want to go out and check out our website, we're at www.Jansen Photo Expeditions. And if you'd like to sign up for our newsletter, we send you a PDF on landscape photography and finding the light. And we hope that we can answer any questions that you might have on landscape photography. I don't see anything here. But if you have any questions, or you have any questions about our upcoming trips, we'd love to have a conversation with you. Do you have any last words?
Well, just yeah, like we said earlier, spring is coming. Get out there and start shooting. Make sure you use your tripod. Just calm down, take your time. Compose your images and really think about what you're doing. I think it's going to be an interesting spring this year. We're getting, especially in California, we're getting a lot of these funny monsoonal rains coming in, and hopefully they'll produce some nice wildflowers down here in the southern part of the state. I'm trying to put together a little workshop for wildflower shooting down here. But but time will tell. So get out there and shoot and have a good time. It's all about the light, and just remember that, and slow down, think about your compositions. Try not to just rattle off a bunch of shots. Take your time and enjoy. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.